Okay, so today's video is not going to be what I expected or what I wanted to do didn't quite work out right. I admit I couldn't get it working like I wanted to get it working. That's a whole nother story. It's not a whole nother story. That is the story. And what I'm going to do is try a different technique for making the enemy ship explode. We got last time we got collision working, and I was working on this. You can see on the display here the little fireworks going on. That's kind of a side effect of trying to get the explosion going. Yes, I asked AI to give me a program, and what it gave me was drawing a line, and it was kind of interesting, but I didn't want a line. I wanted a pixel, and I was able to get it doing this here, you see. But I couldn't help analyzing the code because I love this cosine and sine of the angle. And to explain that, what you have is the unit circle here. It's the radius is 1, and if you go around and look at each one of these, what this shows you is the x and y axis coordinates for each one. So this is x and y, and well, what are we using over here? We're using our x and y, and the whole thing comes down to the coordinate system. Can't speak. Yes, that's what happens when you record. I want to use the excuse of early in the morning. It's already after 11. But Cartesian coordinate system, there we go. So you've got x and y, and like on our little display, we're working down in this quadrant down here. So, but everything's positive. We go from 0, everything's upside down. We go from 0 to 64, and from 0 to 100, no, 0 to, well, I can't even remember anything. Yes, we go from 0 to 64, and then from 0 to 128. So everything is going in down to the right and down. So we have to kind of flip everything around, but this works. And what it's doing here, you can see it's taking the angle, while the angle's less than 360 degrees, for every 45 degrees, it multiplies the radius, and we set the radius, on this one I set the radius at 30, just because to give it a larger explosion. And so the radius, and at every angle, you see here it's incrementing by 45. So what it's doing, it goes 0, 45, 90, 135, 180, 225, 270, 315, and back to 0. So you can see that's exactly what you're getting up here with these little explosions. But what we're doing is for the radius, each radius as we go around, we are incrementing the end, x and y, but we're rotating it. And you have to see this in slow motion because you can see it rotate around as it goes. It does one circle, and then it goes up to it does the for loop, and then it goes up here to the radius. It changes the radius, it does another loop, and then it goes back and increments the radius, and so it keeps getting larger and larger. It's really cool. And white, we clear the display inside of here. This is part of the problem I was having. One of the issues, one of the minor issues, I think instead of using this animation, I'm going to do a different animation. But you see here, okay, I wanted to go back to this. Got a cosine, and it changes the angle to radians, and it's really interesting because at 45 degrees, it's the square root of 2 over 2, and what that comes out to be is 0.707. Yes, I spent a lot of time calculating this all up because I haven't done trigonometry in years, and I really enjoy trigonometry. So you can see this is how it calculates it. So it does the this, like I said, this is 0.707, and then up here, if you calculate this out, it's just Pythagorean's theorem. You go through, and with the radius of 1 and the x value, the y value of 0, then what you end up with is the square root of x equals the square root of 1, which comes out to 1. So you end up down here, and the same goes this direction. That's how you end up with 0 and 1. And then you come into this quadrant, it's negative numbers. And that's how it, you're seeing it plus where the center is. Well, what I wanted to do, because initially I had the center set in the center of the screen, and it was just exploding in the center of the screen. I thought, well, let's make fireworks out of it. We can get some kind of good out of this. So I changed the X to a random screen width and the Y to a random screen height, and then so it moves the center every time we go through our loop. So we have our explosion moving around here. You see how it's going. So I will put this code in the description, probably the easiest thing, because it's just short and no use for going to GitHub. And what I'm going to do, I'll tell you what we're going to do, is over here in this icons8.com, rats, I touched the button. Okay, I found this star, and so I downloaded this star, and I wonder where I have it. I downloaded the star, and I changed it to white, and I changed the different sizes. And what I think I'll do, oh no, I lost my feed. Okay, so anyway, and each one of them I changed to a text file. And what I want to do, I'm going to make this an animation. I'm going to attempt to make this the explosion and see how it turns out. I don't know if it'll be as effective, or I don't know. That's my thoughts. That's what I'm thinking. So that's what I'm going to work on next. And that's all for today. It might be a while before I make another video because I need to figure this out. And I might, because I want to have levels where we have the little here we are, we got back, where we have our little enemy shooting back at us. Okay, so that's another story, and we've got to add life bars to each side and everything. Okay, anyway, that's enough. That's all I can stand.